Right. Welcome, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Come On Out English. My name is Xander. It's very nice to talk to you today. For those watching from either Japan or Vietnam, welcome. If you are watching this live on Facebook, please say hi in the chat. Tell us your name. Tell us where are you from. Today, we will talk about phrasal verbs. Okay, phrasal verbs, not a very easy point in the English language. Sometimes they are a little bit difficult to memorize, to understand, and to study. But today, we want to really help you to learn a few common and very popular phrasal verbs and to understand how to use phrasal verbs when you speak to other people in English or when you're writing in English. So let's get started today. And first, we will talk about why phrasal verbs are important. Why do you need to learn phrasal verbs? Why do you need to understand phrasal verbs? There are 4 reasons for you to understand phrasal verbs. Firstly, it makes it very easy to communicate or to speak with other people in the English language. Secondly, it helps you to sound a lot more fluent. You sound more like a native English speaker when you use phrasal verbs in your conversations. Thirdly, it also helps you to understand native English speakers a lot better. It's easier to understand them because mostly as native English speakers, we use a lot of phrasal verbs when we speak and write in English. And then finally, it helps you to communicate better or more accurately so that other people can understand you a lot better when you use the English language. So let's talk about what is a phrasal verb. So what do we mean when we say phrasal verbs? So first of all, it's important to know that a phrasal verb is a combination of 2 or even 3 words which when we put those 2 or 3 words together, their meaning together is different from the meaning they have when they are used on their own. And that's why phrasal verbs can sometimes be difficult, because the meaning changes when we put these 2 or 3 words together and use them together. Now, let's look at the structure of phrasal verbs. Like, how do we build or create a phrasal verb? So, all phrasal verbs have 2 different parts. It's always a verb, doshi, and a preposition or an adverb. But most of the time, it's a verb, doshi, plus a preposition, zenchishi. Okay, verb, doshi, plus preposition, zenchishi. All right, that's how we build our phrasal verbs. For example, if we look at the first one, pick up, like I pick up my child from school. Pick, doshi, verb, and up, preposition, zenchishi. Doshi and zenchishi. Or for example, come in. Come, doshi, in, zenchishi. Verb and preposition. Or move in. Move, verb, doshi, and in, preposition, zenchishi. All right, so that's how we build preposition or phrasal verbs. Now, let's do an exercise learning how to use phrasal verbs in our speaking or writing. So here we have a conversation between 2 people, a host and a guest. Now, let's start first by reading the full conversation. Hello, enter. Thank you. Let me just extinguish my cigarette. Sure. Shall I remove my shoes? No, it's all right. You can continue to wear them. How was your first week in your new job? Well, I have a very good relationship with my colleagues, but my new boss is very mean. I see that you look a bit upset, but I have some news that will make you feel happier. Really? Yes. I unexpectedly found some photos of our holiday in Spain. Have a look. Oh, great. That will help me to stop feeling upset. So here we have a normal conversation, but I want you to pay attention to all the words in bold, like enter, extinguish, remove, continue to wear them, have a good relationship, make you feel happier, unexpectedly found, and stop feeling upset. I want you to quickly look at all the words in bold and see if you can think of a phrasal verb we can use to replace the words in bold with. For example, let's look at enter. Which phrasal verb or verb and preposition, doshi and preposition, can we use to replace enter with? So the example is very simple. We can say, instead of saying enter, we can say come in. Come is your verb, doshi, and in is preposition, zenchishi. Come in. It has the same meaning as enter. Let's look at the next example, extinguish. Now, extinguish is a very difficult word, but it means to kill, to kill a cigarette or to kill a fire. So can you think of a phrasal verb and preposition we can use to replace extinguish with? Think about it. I will give you a little clue. I'll give you the verb, the doshi, and you give me the preposition, zenchishi. So the verb we use here is put. But what is the preposition, zenchishi, that we can use with this phrasal verb? Think about it for a few seconds. All right. So the preposition or zenchishi we can use here is out. Put out. So extinguish, meaning to kill cigarette or a fire, is put out. We can say, just let me put out my cigarette, or let me put out the fire. Let's go to the next one, remove. This one is very, very popular. We always use it with clothes or with shoes or even with glasses. What do you think is a good phrasal verb we can use instead of remove? Remove my shoes, or let me give you a little clue. So I'm going to give you the preposition and you see if you can give me the verb, the doshi. So the preposition is off. What verb, what doshi can we use with off that has the same meaning as remove? So we can use the phrasal verb take off. Take off. That's the same as remove. So when you talk about clothes or shoes or glasses, you can say, I take off my shoes. Moving on to the next one, continue to wear them. So this is a very long sentence, but which phrasal verb do you think we can use that has the same meaning as continue to wear them? I'm going to give you a clue to say the preposition is on. On. What verb do you think we can use that has the same meaning as continue to wear them? What do you think? Okay, so we can use the verb keep. Keep on. So we can say, you can keep them on. So it's a lot shorter than you can continue to wear them. You can just say, you can keep them on. All right, moving on to the next one. Have a very good relationship with. What do you think is a good phrasal verb that means to have a good relationship with someone? Can you think of any examples? And if you're watching this recording or you're live, feel free to write your answer in the chat. To have a good relationship with. I'm going to give you the verb, the doshi. You give me the preposition, the zenchishi. So the verb is get. What do you think is the zenchishi, the preposition we can use that means have a very good relationship with? All right. So actually for this one, there are two different zenchishi or prepositions we can use that has the same meaning. The first one is on. So to get on, or we can use to get along. get on, or get along. That means to have a very good relationship. All right. Now, the next one, make you feel happier. This one is also quite popular. Okay. What do you think is a phrasal verb we can use that means make you feel happier? I'm going to give you a little clue here. So, have you ever watched a movie where in the movie they were playing football or baseball or basketball? Now, normally you have some people, normally girls, standing next to the field and singing and dancing. What do we call those people? They're called cheerleaders. So that's your clue. See if you can use that clue to write down a phrasal verb that means to make you feel happier. Okay, so the phrasal verb here is cheer up. Cheer up. I have some news that will cheer you up. That means to make you feel happier. All right. Now, the next one is a little bit hard. This one is not easy. Unexpectedly found. So can you think of a phrasal verb that means to unexpectedly find something, meaning you were not looking for it, but you found it? Okay, this is also a very popular one, and it is came across or to come across. Okay, so I came across some photos of our holiday in Spain. Come across. And this one is not easy to remember because come across and find doesn't really make a lot of sense. Okay, let's go to our last one, to stop feeling upset. Can you think of a phrasal verb that means to stop feeling upset? Okay. The clue I'm going to give you is, let's say someone is very angry at you, shouting at you very loudly. What can you say to them if they're very angry? Tell them you need to what? Give me a phrasal verb that has the meaning to stop feeling upset. What do you think? Okay, so the one that we can use here is to calm down. So if someone is very angry and shouting, you can tell them you need to calm down. Calm down. Okay, so here we have already learned a few phrasal verbs that are very, very popular. Now I want to show you this conversation, but this time we're going to read the phrasal verbs instead of the other words. And as I read it, I want you to listen to how it sounds. Listen that it sounds very easy to say it. It communicates it in a very short way, but most importantly, it communicates it in a way where native speakers can really easily understand you. So let's read this together. Hello, come in. Thank you. Just let me put out my cigarette. Sure. Shall I take off my shoes? No, it's all right. You can keep them on. How was the first week in your new job? Well, I get on very well with my colleagues, but my new boss is very mean. I see that you look a bit upset, but I have some news that will cheer you up. Really? Yes. I came across some photos of our holiday in Spain. Have a look. Oh, great. that will help me to calm down. So can you hear it's much more flowing? It's easier to say, it's easier to read when we use phrasal verbs. All right, so I have an exercise for you that I want us to do together. Okay, so let's have a look at the following sentences, right? Here we have some new but very popular phrasal verbs. Okay, what I want you to do is to read the sentence and tell me, what do you think is the meaning of each of these phrasal verbs? Just write it down in the chat or on a piece of paper, and let's see how many of these you actually know. So if we look at number 1, John started to work out at the gym to improve his physical condition. So work out, what do you think is the meaning of work out? Write down your answer and tell me, what do you think? Okay, so work out means to exercise, to do physical exercise. So instead of saying you want to go to the gym and do some exercise, you can say, I want to go work out at the gym. Number 2, I can't meet you on Wednesday. Can we put off our meeting to Friday? Put off. What do you think is the meaning of put off? Write down your answer in the chat or on a piece of paper. Put off. All right. So the meaning of put off means to postpone or to move your meeting or appointment to a later time or a later date. Very important. This is not an earlier time or earlier date. It's always a later date or later time. That's put off, meaning later than we planned. Number 3, I'm afraid I have to call off our meeting. I'm really busy. Okay, so listen to this one. First, we have put off, move to a later time. Then we have call off. What do you think is the meaning of call off? Write it down in your notes or in the chat. What do you think? So the meaning of call off is simply to cancel a meeting, right? Cancel. So put off, move to a later time or postpone. Call off is to completely cancel. Number 4, he finally found the courage to ask her out. What do you think is the meaning of ask out? Think about girlfriend, boyfriend. Write down your answer. So ask out means to invite someone, but specifically to invite someone on a date. So it's not like invite a friend to do something. It's invite someone on a date, like your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Next one, I'm going to be at home all afternoon, so drop by if you find some time. Drop by. What do you think is the meaning of drop by? So drop by means to visit someone, but more importantly, to visit someone without an appointment, meaning you didn't plan to visit them, but you decided to visit them anyway. So maybe if you are driving home from the office or on the train, you can call your friend and asked them, can I drop by on my way home? Meaning we didn't have an appointment, but I'm going to visit you anyways. All right, great. Number 6, are you going to move in with your parents again? This one is quite easy, move in. And that simply means to start living somewhere. So you can move in with someone or you can move into a new apartment. It just means you start living there. Number 7, don't turn up late for the meeting. The boss won't be happy. Turn up. This one is not very easy. But I want you to take a few seconds, write down what do you think is the meaning of turn up. Okay, so turn up simply means to arrive, or to appear somewhere. Okay, so this is also, when you listen to turn up, no, doesn't sound like it makes sense, but it means to arrive somewhere. Very important and very popular phrasal verb. Next one, the internet connection wasn't working, so I had to do without email for a day. Do without. This one is quite easy because it makes a lot of sense. Do without means that you have to manage or continue doing something without something that you need. So maybe if you don't have an internet connection, you can say, I have to do without internet for the day. It means you have to continue working or doing whatever you're doing without something important like internet or email or your computer or your smartphone or something like that. Number 9 and 10 are very close to each other. So number 9 says, Diego always eats in. His wife is a very good cook. And number 10 says, Mr. Chan can't cook very well, so he often eats out. What do you think is the meaning of eat in and eat out? So it means very simply, eat in means that you eat at home. You cook a meal and you eat at home. And the opposite of that is eat out, which means you eat at a restaurant. Okay, so very easy and very simple to use. All right, so I have 2 homework assignments I would like you to do on your own to practice your memory of these phrasal verbs a little bit. So on the next screen, you will see the phrasal verbs that we have learned today with some definitions on the right. I want you to just take a screenshot or take a picture of this exercise and see if you can finish this exercise on your own at home after this lesson. Quickly take a screenshot and see how many of them you can remember. Great. Then finally, we have one more exercise that I want us to do together. Okay. You can also take a screenshot of all the right answers, but don't look at the answers before completing it on your own to see how many of them you actually guessed right. And even if you want to come back to this video and look at the answers, feel free to do that. But let's go to our final exercise for today. We're going to watch some short videos. And in the video, you will see people doing certain things. What I want you to do is to guess and to write down one sentence for each video using one of the phrasal verbs that we learned in today's lesson. Okay, so we're going to watch one video. I'm going to pause it, give you a few seconds to write down your answer, and then move to the next one. Remember, try to write down a full sentence for each of the videos. Okay, are you ready? Let's go.
One.
Okay, so that's number one. See if you can write down one sentence from that video using one of the phrasal verbs we learned today. I'll give you a few seconds. All right, so the sentence we can use for that one is she is taking off her shoes. Take off being our phrasal verb. Let's go to the next one.
Two.
What do you think about that one? See if you can write down a sentence about that video. All right, so that one, we can say she is working out at the gym. Work out means to do exercise. That's number two. Let's look at number three.
Three.
Okay, what do you think about that one? This one is not very easy, but think about how the man feels and what the girl is trying to do. Write down your sentence. So this one, we can say, she is cheering him up. Cheer up means to make someone feel happier. Let's look at the next one.
Four.
What do you think about this one? Not very easy, but think about one that we learned about clothes or shoes. She's using makeup in this video. So for this one, we can say something like, she is putting on lipstick or makeup. And put on is the opposite of take off. And we can use that with makeup, with clothes, with shoes, with glasses, headphones, anything you put on your body. Next one.
Five.
What do you think about that one? You can see she's very angry and upset and emotional. What can you tell her to do? Write down your sentence. So we can say she should calm down. Okay, she should calm down. Remember, when someone is crying or angry, we can use calm down in that situation.
Six.
What do you think about that one? Write down your sentence. Okay, this one, very, very easy. They are eating out. Okay, meaning not at home, but in a restaurant, they are eating out.
7.
All right. So what do you think about the last one? Very easy, almost the same as the previous one. Very simply, we can say she is eating in, meaning not at a restaurant, but she's eating at home. Okay, friends, this has brought us to the end of today's lesson, but I want to give you one more task to do as homework. So I'm going to show you a task on the screen that I would like you to complete for homework and just see how many of these phrasal verbs you can remember. So here on the screen, you have 5 questions. Take a picture or take a screenshot and see if you can complete these questions using the right phrasal verbs that we learned today. And you can find the meaning of the phrasal verb you need at the end of each sentence. So see how many of these you can remember, and feel free to send your answers in the chat. If you're watching this recording on Facebook, you are more than welcome to put your answers in the chat, and we'll have a look at them and we'll tell you how many of them you actually guessed right, and we'll give you some feedback afterwards. Everyone, thanks so much for joining our lesson today. For those watching the recording, thank you very much. We will do a free lesson like this once per month. If there's a specific topic you would like us to talk about, send us a message or send us an email. If you would like, you are more than welcome to get into contact with us, and we want to help you get better on your English journey. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.